Hello, everybody. It's Chris Gallagher. Thank you for tuning in to the Preacher's Pen Weekly Bible Study. We're glad that you are here on the week of April 3rd through April 7th. We're going to be talking about Mark chapter 4. Now, if you're just joining us, we've had some new subscribers to our YouTube channel. You can find us at youtube.com/ and the @ Preacher's Pen, or Rumble on rumble.com/Preacher's Pen. You can also check out our website anytime that you want to at preacherspen.org. But we're glad that you're here. We're glad that you're following us, and be sure to get alerted of those notifications. What I want to share with you today from Mark chapter 4 is pretty interesting, because in this chapter of the Bible, there's the parable of the sower. Jesus describes the purpose of the parables. Then there's the illustration that we hear all the time about a lamp and a basket. Then parable of the seed growing, parable of the mustard seed, and Jesus calms the storm. There's a lot of information to get through. And so what we're going to do is we're going to divide this up over the course of this week. And we will hope that you follow along with us. We hope that this is going to be inspirational to you, that you're going to be able to study. What we typically do in a week is this, is we begin our week by reading through the chapter. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to read through Mark chapter 4, encourage you to do that. Then we'll come back tomorrow and we'll dive more into the text. So let's begin reading here for a few moments. It says in Mark chapter 4, by the way, reading from the English Standard Version, it says, "Again, he," talking about Jesus, "began to teach beside the sea, and a very large crowd gathered about him, so that he got into a boat and sat in it on the sea. And the whole crowd was beside the sea on the land. And he was teaching them many things in parables. And in his teaching he said to them, Listen, behold, a sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some seed fell along the path, and the birds came and devoured it. Other seed fell on rocky ground, where it did not have much soil, and immediately it sprang up. But since it had no depths of soil, and when the sun rose, it was scorched, and since it had no root, it withered away. Other seed fell among the thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no grain. Other seeds fell into the good soil, and produced grain, growing up and increasing and yielding 30-fold and 60-fold and 100-fold. And he said, He who has ears to hear, let him hear. And when he was alone, those around him with the 12 asked him about the parables. And he said to them, To you it's been given the secret of the kingdom of God, but for those who are outside, everything is in parables, so that they may indeed see but not perceive. They may indeed hear but not understand, lest they should turn and be forgiven. And he said to them, Do you not understand this parable? How then will you understand all the parables? The sower sows the word. These are the ones along the path where the word is sown. When they hear, Satan immediately comes and takes away the word that is sown in them. And these are the ones sown on rocky ground. The ones who, when they hear the word, immediately receive it with joy. And they have no root in themselves, but endure for a while. But when tribulation or persecution arises on the account of the word, immediately they fall away. And others are the ones sown among thorns. There is the ones who hear the word, but the cares of this world, the deceitfulness of riches, the desires for other things enter in and choke the word, and it proves unfruitful. But those that were sown on the good soil are the ones who hear the word and accept it and bear fruit, 30-fold, 60-fold, and 100-fold. And he said to them, Is a lamp brought in to be put under a basket or under a bed, and not on a stand? For nothing is hidden except to be made manifest, nor is anything secret except to come to light. If anyone has ears to hear, let him hear. And then he said to them, Pay attention to what you hear. With the measure you use, it will be measured to you, and still more will be added to you. For the one who has, more will be given. From the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And he said, The kingdom of God is as if a man should scatter seed on the ground. He sleeps and rises night and day, and the seed sprouts and grows. He knows not how. The earth produces by itself, first the blade, then the ear, then the full grain in the ear. But when the grain is ripe, at once he puts it in a sickle, because harvest is come. And he said to them, With what can we compare the kingdom of God? Or what parable shall we use for it? It is like a grain of mustard seed, which, when sown on the ground, is the smallest of all the seeds on earth. Yet when it is sown, it grows up and becomes larger than all the garden plants and puts out large branches so the birds of the air can make nests in its shade. With many such parables he spake the word to them as they were able to hear it. He did not speak to them without a parable, but privately to his own disciples he explained everything. And on that day when evening came, he said to them, Let us cross to the other side. And leaving the crowd, they took with them the boat just as he was, and the other boats were with him. And a great windstorm arose, and the waves were breaking into the boat, so that the boat was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him and said, Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing? And he awoke and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said to them, Why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith? And they were filled with great fear and said to one another, Who then is this that even the winds and the seas obey him? Such a beautiful chapter as Mark writes this chapter inspired by God to set forth the understanding to the individuals like us who are going to read it thousands of years later, of the stories of the parables, the illustrations of the kingdom of God, and even what it's like to receive the word. Now, a little bit of background information to this. When we think of a parable, you have heard that a parable is an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. And that's what we mean when we say parable. It's an illustration. It is a story. There are many parables contained in the Bible, and it gives us a view of heaven. And it gives us a way to think in our mind about what Jesus is saying. And if you notice, it says that he spoke to those that were with him, the apostles, the disciples, those right with him. He explained everything to them. But the people were not able to receive it. And the reason is because the people were still trying to figure out a little bit, I believe, who Jesus was. They knew that he was different. They knew that he was a healer, and here they come. They're listening to them. They're bringing in people. They're coming to Jesus. They're bringing all of these individuals, but they're still trying to figure out a little bit who they are. So many times Jesus, alone with his disciples, is going to explain some things to them. So when he speaks in these parables, a parable is an earthly story with a heavenly meaning, but it also comes from the Greek word mean to lay alongside. So as Jesus is going to teach a great lesson, he uses a story to lay it alongside a very powerful meaning. It's where we get our word parallel. We think of parallel as two lines that do not intersect, that do not cross, that run beside each other and never touch. That's what Jesus is explaining to them. So when we dive into these parables, like the parable of the sower, or down here to the parable of the seed that grows, or verse 30, the parable of the mustard seed, understand that these are stories, but there is a great meaning behind them. In fact, if you are a Christian, you probably have some people in your life who've never been to church, but they've heard the parable of the sower, or they've heard the parable of the mustard seed. And this can be a powerful opportunity for you to share this with them. But I would just ask you a question, very simple question. First one is this, as we prepare for tomorrow: which soil are you? Rocky ground, thorny ground, or the good soil? And not just the soil, but which is your favorite parable? Not just of Mark chapter 4, but of all the parables. Which one means the most to you? I thank you for stopping by and checking us out on the Preacher's Pen. I hope that these Bible classes are an encouragement to you. I hope that there's something that you can share with the people around you. If you will, do me a favor, go to our website, preacherspen.org. Sign up for our newsletter list up top. The newsletter comes out every Wednesday. And also you'll notice some redesigns on the Preacher's Pen that are coming very, very soon to allow you a more efficient way of surfing and finding some things on our website. Check us out at youtube.com/@preacherspen or rumble.com/@preacherspen. We're also there on Facebook, facebook.com/preacherspen, and on Twitter at twitter.com, and you guessed it, /preacherspen. Hope you have a great day. Look forward to talking to you soon. And as always, have a great day. Be blessed. And we'll look forward to talking to you again tomorrow.